Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for what is turning out to be one of the highest attended webinars in UDA history. My name is Taylor Pruitt. I also have my colleague Holly Gibson with me today.
Hey, everyone.
And for those of you who don't know, if you got dragged along by your boss or a coworker into here, otherwise I assume you know why you're here. Today we are unveiling one of the most anticipated and really most exciting features that ConstructionOnline has had in the past couple of years, maybe ever. And I don't say that lightly. There's, especially in the last year or two, been a large string of features and enhancements that have come out that have continued to garner attention and momentum for ConstructionOnline. Kind of one after the other have been met with great feedback and a lot of really exciting, new concepts for ConstructionOnline. And today, though, is kind of got butterflies, Holly. I mean, it's one of those things that haven't had this feeling in a long time.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Well, the great thing about what we'll be showcasing today in the ConstructionOnline mobile app is that it really takes all of those outstanding features, both new and old, for ConstructionOnline and pulls them into a mobile platform. So we're certainly, really excited. And when I think about the way that our clients use our existing mobile apps, it's been hugely successful. The on-site family of mobile apps is the largest in the industry and has millions and millions of downloads. We've got tons of people really using it, using that family of apps really, really well. And what's really exciting about this is to kind of build on that and be able to offer all of the existing tools in ConstructionOnline, including things like the brand new Redline that we released this year, all in that one mobile app.
Yeah, that really is kind of the big picture today, is that with the mobile world that we live in now, everything is moving that direction. And even with cloud-based systems like ConstructionOnline and being planted in front of your computer, in front of a surface or something like that, there is a lot that goes on outside the office as well, and that people use their phones, they use tablets, they use iPads. Those are things that are steadily becoming more common and kind of erasing the other types of technology that we use on a day-to-day basis. And really the future is mobile in a sense. Mm-hmm. And the present is mobile even.
Yeah, I think it is. Well, that's one thing to think about, is really the way that people work has really changed a lot, I think, over the last few years. I mean, most of the people that I talk to, most of my customers that I work with, spend a fair amount of time juggling their time between being in the office, being on the go, meeting with clients in person, being out on job sites. And so there really is a lot of variety in where and how people want to access their information, and this really gives it all to you in your pocket, literally, with the mobile app.
Absolutely, and that is one of the things that as we go through today, we're going to be introducing a lot of really cool features. I mean, some of you guys have already been using the app, giving us some great feedback on it. Holly mentioned that we're going to kind of get the best of both worlds today, with the existing features on ConstructionOnline really being added to the family of apps that we have had for such a long time and had such great feedback. And those are some of the things today that really we've gotten the best feedback from so far. Looking forward to getting more feedback really as well, and getting this into everybody's hands. For those of you who haven't downloaded this, by the way, you can go ahead and download the ConstructionOnline app from the Google Play Store or the iOS App Store right now and walk through this with us. There will be a few features today that we're sneak peeking or kind of talking about that will not be on the live version right now, but hopefully here in the next week or possibly two, you guys will have a little more exposure to that and be able to use those within the app. Mm-hmm. So we are having quite a few people kind of chatting in right now about the screen visibility. We're not actually casting the app yet, so we are about to start doing that. You guys aren't missing anything. The screen is actually what you should be seeing right now, so no worries with that. We're about to start casting, and we'll get you guys into kind of the nuts and bolts of of the ConstructionOnline app here. So as we dive in, Holly, was there anything else that you wanted to say, I guess, about the app before we dive in?
Well, I do want to say two things. One, as always, as we get started here today, I will be available to answer questions through chat. So if there's anything that you guys are wondering about, feel free to chat over to me during the webinar. I'll be available. Like Taylor mentioned earlier, this is pretty exciting. It's one of the highest attended webinars that I've seen all year. So I'm expecting a good number of questions. Try to be patient with me as I wade through those. And the other thing is really, I think I'm just excited, Taylor, for you to jump in and show it off. I mean, like you mentioned, there's a lot of features. There's a couple of new features that we'll be highlighting today that haven't previously been available in this app. I know that there's, thousands of you already using that. It's been available on the App Store for a couple of months there, so it'll be exciting to show some new things. And it's also really exciting for me too. Some of the new features that are available in this app, like the chat or instant messaging, are things that now you can expect to see us add those across to our other platforms as well. So it's really, not only is the app convenient for you guys, but for us, I think it really reveals even more ways that we can help facilitate communication between your team and really just make the family of products that we offer that much better for you.
Absolutely. And as Holly said, bear with her. I will try to keep an eye on these questions as well, but there are very, very high attendance records being set today with our webinar. So bear with her if she doesn't get to you immediately. We will probably have to come back to the questions at the end of the session today and just make sure that we've covered everything that has been asked. But without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and dive in here and let you guys see this. And for those of you who haven't been able to download it or find it yet, it is just called ConstructionOnline. You can find it on the iOS App Store or Google Play Store. If you're searching on an iPad, currently you will have to change that search to do iPhone apps instead of iPad apps. That's one of the surprises we have in store for you today, is to show off the new iPad version that should be coming here in the next week or two to all of those iPad users out there. So a lot to look forward to. But I'm going to go ahead and log in here, and as you can see, the app is nice, sleek look, really in style with the rest of ConstructionOnline and the nice visual representation we like to give you, because nobody likes to work on an ugly program. And as we go through today, I'm going to go ahead and log in here, and the first thing you'll see when you log into the app, of course, it's going to download all of your projects directly from ConstructionOnline and get all of your information coming right here into the app. So for those of you who have been working in ConstructionOnline, everything's already going to be here. It comes in straight into the app as soon as you start going, and you can take the power of ConstructionOnline with you everywhere you go. And as you're looking at this grid, of course, you can see all of the features that are available to you in the web version of our system. The things that you work on in the office every day or off of your surfaces or laptops every day are available in the app. And I don't want to downplay either the individual apps that we have, the on-site apps out there. Those have been wildly successful over the years, have had millions and millions of downloads from all across the world, and we have taken the best of those apps, brought them into here, expanded on them, and then added additional features that you couldn't get individually. But the individual apps give you a great focus for maybe your subcontractors or your TeamLink members as well, so that they can actually get in there, and if they only need to focus on logging, maybe they don't have access to all of these features or don't need access to all of these features, so you can still keep them tunnel visioned on what they need to do without really getting lost in the weeds of all the other features that they don't need. But for those of you who are looking for just the raw power of all the features that you can get, this is where you go. And one thing that we've really focused on here is making navigation simple, making this app easy to use and easy to just dive right into from the start. And so when you load to this screen, you'll see at the bottom that I'm actually in all projects. And some of these features, just like ConstructionOnline, will have views for all projects where you can see a cumulative list of everything that's going on. And some of these features are project specific, things like punch lists or change orders. You might go into and have change orders on a per project basis. So to get started, if you're looking for a specific project, you can click the project at the bottom. And this is the iPhone version, by the way. The Android version has it at the top. We'll switch back and forth between iPhone, Android, and a little bit of iPad today as well, just to give exposure to everyone in attendance. But the basic functionality is going to be the same. You'll get a list of your projects. I'll switch into my Park Place job. And now I can start drilling into any features that I want to and not only see the content that's been created on ConstructionOnline, but also begin generating content directly from the app. So many of our clients will actually create content from the field, add those punch lists, create those change orders, submit those RFIs or daily logs from the field, and it works both ways equally as well. And so if you're going in and want to, let's say from the field, we'll kind of start at the top. I'm going to skip over the Redline version right now, before we get into kind of the plans and document management. But we're going to start with files. And if you go click on files, it'll load in the folders, the albums that you already have on the job. And at this point, I don't have anything in these folders. So if I click on bids, it will drill in. There's nothing here. Click on permits. There's nothing here. Concepts, nothing here as well. But I can go through and either add photos from my device. The button in the top right, plus button here, will give me an expanded menu where I can either take a photo or video or upload photos or videos directly from my phone. Android users, you guys have a slight advantage with the way that files are stored on your phones, and you can actually take files and PDFs directly from your file storage and upload those as well. iOS users, I'm one of you guys. I feel your pain. It's not something that Apple phones or iPhones allow you to do, so photos and videos are what you have available here. But as you go through, you can see I'll grab my camera roll, grab some of these progress photos here that I've added, go ahead and upload these right from the site. And anything that you've taken beforehand or want to take now can be uploaded. And I'll go ahead and while these are finishing, take a photo right here of my computer screen and allow you guys to get a little bit of a kind of inception picture going on here. And I'll use this photo and go ahead and upload this as well. And so all of these pictures are uploaded directly to ConstructionOnline. The people in the office are notified of what you've been doing, the pictures you've been taking. These, of course, can be attached to project logs, to-dos, other items that you're creating from the field as you go along. But these are just going into the general albums right now. And you have a nice ability to click on these photos and actually scroll through and check on the pictures that you've taken or that have been uploaded from the job site. And of course, once you've actually loaded these once, the caching mechanisms here make everything lightning fast. So you can just scroll through, check out all those photos, and see everything that you need to see. So files and photos, not an issue. Anybody that needs access to those can get them directly from the field. Of course, permissions still apply. So anything that's been permissioned out on ConstructionOnline will be either equally restricted or available through the app based on those settings. Contacts, of course, just kind of going down the row, you guys can see that all of your contacts here on ConstructionOnline will be available. So if you need quick access to your architect or your engineer, subcontractor, I've got a couple contacts that are loading here. You can go in and actually see them in alphabetical order, of course. It's going to be native to really iOS or Android, so anybody that's using Android, this view might look slightly different than what your phone book or your contacts book looks like. iPhone users, this will look very native kind of to your contacts list on your phone. I guess one note to make about Android is I say that it's going to be a little more native for Android on the Android version. There's really not a standard on the Android side. All of the developers, all the manufacturers, Samsung, LG, all of those different types of devices will actually have different standards, different layouts. So it'll be a lot more user-friendly from the Android side for Android users and a lot more user-friendly for the iOS side for iOS users. We've made, again, a pretty concentrated effort to make this app as easy as possible to use going in. And if I click on Holly's contact info, for example, I can see that she's got an email address, not a whole lot else added here. If I wanted to add, I could go ahead and edit this contact and add a phone number, add an address, etc. But if I go ahead and go to a contact that has a little more info, maybe like Brad, I can get the phone number and email. And of course, all of these are interactive. I can actually send an email by clicking on the email address here, and it opens up my default email message here. If I go and open up or click on the phone number, it will begin calling or ask me to call from the phone. By the way, ConstructionOnline does have call logs built in, which tie into our ConstructionOnline dialog. So a lot of interconnectivity here. It's much better than just going and dialing out from your phone, because this is logged into ConstructionOnline. It's tracked who you called, when you called them, how long you spoke, and you can actually go back and put notes in those as well and use the call log features on ConstructionOnline to go back and audit your communication and make sure that everything's been taken care of. So contacts are very easily accessible, and the most important part, easy to contact. As we go through here, estimating actually is coming soon, so another kind of sneak peek here. We won't be able to go into it, but if you click on it, you'll also see the coming soon notification. That is something that, of course, the power of our online estimating system is difficult to fit into a 4-inch screen. We are finding some pretty creative ways to do it, and we're getting close to a solution that we're very happy with. But of course, we are always searching for the best, always fine-tuning everything and making sure that when you guys do get this mobile estimating, it's going to be something that is up to the UDA standard, and that you have access to do everything you need to do from the field. And so to continue on past that, though, you do have parts that tie into estimating that will also populate from ConstructionOnline. The change orders feature being one of them. So as I go in here, you'll see I already have a change order that's pending for some additional permits. You get all the relevant information: the change order name, the description, the dollar value. Again, depending on your process, some of you guys will be creating these from the field. Some of you will be creating these from the office. Creating them from the field is extremely simple. You go in and have just a nice little scroll down the list, put the dollar values, put the number in, markup, description, all the information right here at your fingertips. And as you can see here at the top, you can also approve or reject this change order right here from the app. So if I approve it, it'll go ahead and give me the nice thumbs up, change this to green, and a nice visual indicator that this change order has been approved. Creating change orders, the big green button at the top, again, going to be right there on every feature. Creating new change orders is as simple as clicking that button. You can type the details in. You've got additional items like notes, item images, so if you want to take a picture of something that you're doing on the site, or even a picture of a contract that's been submitted, or of a document that you've received from a subcontractor or for the client, you can take a photo of that or add it as an attachment right here in the change order info. And so to take a quick step back and to get a little bit out of the technical aspect of this and really just talking about what the app can do, the implications that this has on your day-to-day operations are huge. If you're not already using a system like ConstructionOnline, or you're not already using apps that really bring your job site to you wherever you are and bring your project info to you wherever you are, there's a lot of excess documentation and correspondence and a lot of paper trail, things that will convolute your job and make it harder to keep track of what's going where and result in a lot of double or triple entry. Having this immediately available to you is going to make you think about what's going on less, not in the sense of where you don't pay attention to it, but in the sense that you don't have to focus so much time and energy getting information from point A to point B. It's all right here at your fingertips, going into whatever feature you need. And one thing, I'm actually going to jump here to a different topic, and that's going to be our news feed. That's something that many of you guys have seen on ConstructionOnline, and again had great response to. The news feed is a central point where you can be told everything that has happened on ConstructionOnline and have all of that information funnel into a single place. Here in the app, we don't currently have it on the store, but as you'll see when I pop open the Android version in a second, we do have Newsfeed and GamePlan both being added to this app here in, again, the coming weeks. So look forward to that. Be very excited. I will give you a sneak peek of what that looks like so that you can see exactly how all this information trails in. And this is something that we are going to call it, I guess, a version 1.2, something like that. So it's not quite the next generation of this mobile app, but we will continue improving and expanding on everything in this mobile app as time goes on, because as I mentioned at the beginning, mobile technology really is not only the future, but also the present of the construction industry, and many people just don't realize that yet. So getting into this and really taking advantage of the mobile applications that you have cannot be overstated. And so I'm going to briefly touch on selections if we get back to kind of the actual use of the app here. I won't spend too much time on it because selections and change orders are very similar. The cool thing about selections, though, is that they're multi-tiered. You can actually have categories and subcategories and choices. So I can drill into the flooring here and see that I have tile and carpet that are both allowances. Most of this is not going to be created from the field, but if you ever need to use this for reference, you can look up what tile was chosen, what carpet was chosen by the client, to make sure that as you're ordering materials or as you're installing something, you've got it in the right place. Paint colors, anything that you guys are using for your selections or allowances are extremely valuable here And I don't actually have any choices, so any specific tile samples that can be chosen from. But if you did, you would be able to see those here with the images. And actually, I think if I switch projects, I will actually have some selections on one of these that I can pull up for you. And let me see if I can find one just to give you a nice sneak peek of what this looks like without having to create and go find a picture for you. We might have to punt on this one for a second. Oh, there we go. I've got a choice. So if you have the paint selections, this one's called Aqua, it's actually gray, but you can have a nice image of what's going on here and preview this so that you know exactly what you're installing or what color you're painting the walls. And so this is the format that just about all of the features in this app will use. Again, very user-friendly, very consistent, so that you don't have to relearn how to use each and every feature. Punch lists, to-dos, those are going to have kind of the same format. If you drill in, you'll have the documents here that you can actually check off. If I switch back over to my Park Place, I've got a couple things that will pull up here for that project. But again, the features that we're seeing on the iPhone side will be consistent with the Android side. A few little tweaks here and there, again, for native purposes to make it more familiar to you. But punch lists and to-dos will fall right in line with change orders and selections. Make it very easy to create those and have a tiered hierarchy. The really cool things, though, from the mobile side that I do want to talk about are some of the things that, again, you didn't have in the individual apps. So things like lead tracking. And if you go into lead tracking, this is actually going to be a nice culmination of everything that you have on the lead tracking feature in ConstructionOnline. Again, something that's fairly new and has had great response, but we're continuing to add to and build on and give you a lead tracking system comparable to a lot of the major CRM systems out there that don't have anything to do with construction or anything to do with project management. We're always working towards that, always striving to compete with others in the industry in all sectors, not just the construction side, to give you the best of really every facet of your project management and of your company management. And so with the leads, you'll see that I have a few here that are showing. You can get all the info you need, the phone number, the value. Again, contacting these people is really one of the most important things that you'll be getting out of this app. But also just checking on the status, seeing if there's any additional events. So if I click on Chris, it'll take me to his information. And if I collapse the general down and go to lead events, you can see that there's nothing here other than it being opened. If I go back to Jack and check his events, I've actually got a callback scheduled for tomorrow, and this helps me stay on top of that. I can drill in, see what time the call is, see any reminders or attachments on it, and of course his information was already provided to us in the general information so that I can call him directly from the app and dive into that portion of it as well. But you do have, I've only got 3 leads showing right now, so it's not going to be something that makes a huge difference in this light. But for those of our clients who get up to the thousands of leads or a couple hundred leads in the system, scrolling infinitely through here isn't going to be your ideal navigation. So we have filters to allow you to see exactly what you're looking for. You can filter by sales rep, and it gives you a nice spinner here to see Jack's the only one assigned to the employee. You can go back and filter by a stage or a status to see which leads are in sales fulfillment or in initial communication. In this case, it's just Chris. And you can really get compound filters as well. If I do anything other than these two, it's going to eliminate all of my leads. But you can actually compound filter and really drill down into the information that you need to access at this point. And this is something that we, again, will be adding to all portions of the app to give you some nice summary info, at-a-glance info, really the most important parts of the job for each of those features. So everything that you're working through will actually be summarized, easy to see, beautiful dashboards, and have these filters so that you can access the information that you need really with just the click of a button. Some of these features too, time clock, for example, are things that are really driving projects the opposite way on ConstructionOnline. So one of the interesting concepts here that Holly had mentioned was kind of the momentum of Construction Online, the features that we've added over the last year, the last 6 months, and how many of those features have now been incorporated into the mobile app, things like Redline and things like lead tracking. But to look at it from the opposite perspective, we've got a few things in here like our time clock in the bottom left and the quick chat in the bottom right that are much more mobile concepts. Clocking in and clocking out to a job is something that you need to do from your phone. You don't need to do that from the office or from a laptop. You need to be able to open your phone, clock in and clock out, and that's exactly what the time clock does. You'll actually see that I've been clocked into a job now for about 2 hours and logging some time. I can clock out of that job, clock into a different one here, and log some time on my Channing Road project, and it'll start the timer and start tracking the time that I've spent. Same thing with that quick chat that I was talking about is pretty much like instant messaging or text messaging through our app. And that's something that is actually driving some kind of reverse development towards Construction Online and even back to our desktop platform, ConstructionSuite. And that quick chat is something we're really excited about because here in the next kind of few iterations of updates to ConstructionSuite and Construction Online, this quick chat will make its way back from the app all the way through Construction Online and ConstructionSuite so that your project teams truly are connected no matter where they are. If you're in the office using ConstructionSuite, if you've got a superintendent in the field using Construction Online, or maybe a subcontractor out in the field logging their time on their mobile device, that quick chat can tie all of them together, and there will be an interface where you can chat like an instant messenger, or like a AIM or a Slack or something like that. But it's going to be in native messaging format so that you can create groups. You can create chats for each project, add whoever you need to, whether they're employees, clients, subcontractors, and have an instant message going that will actually bring push notifications just as if somebody texted you. And so all of these are going to bring your conversations into one place. Keep your personal life separate from your work life as well, so that you don't have to go searching through your personal conversations or your text messages with your spouse or with your children to find the electrician that texted you a week ago and figure out what exactly he said. So documentation and keeping track of this information is always going to be easier through the app than it would be the day-to-day programs that everybody uses, just like iMessage or text messaging, Outlook and email, any other programs, Dropbox that you're using to store your files. That really takes the best of all of those applications, brings it into Construction Online in a place that's all connected, which, unless you're going to go through the trouble of designing an API that communicates between all of those and using some of the more complicated programs out there that require you to program those yourself and go through those processes and spend a lot of time and money, we've already done that for you. So there's no need to really pursue those avenues when you've got an app that you can download almost off the shelf right here in the store, the iOS store or the Google Play Store, and start using immediately. And so with this is one of the features I really wanted to show off. For those of you who aren't using this, we do have a time clock here on not only the Construction Online app, but there's also a separate app for this as well. So again, if you've got some subs or employees that just need to track their time, don't need to worry about estimates or schedules or punch lists or anything else, they just need to clock in and clock out and track that time, you can download this app separately as well. And then it does, of course, go into the timesheet. And you'll see for today I have a couple different jobs I've logged time on, total of 2.43 hours. And I get some good info if I drill into this. I can actually see when my punch ins and punch outs were. I can click on this and get a nice GPS map of the pin at the location where I checked out or I clocked out. And it tracks all of those as time goes on. And as far as reporting goes, you can bring this up, actually share this with anybody on staff, your payroll coordinator, your administrator, and it will automatically give you a summary of how many hours you've worked, the breakdown by job, and then the breakdown by day. So this was only for a single day. You can, of course, do a week or a 2-week pay period that you're generating these reports for, and go ahead and send these off to, again, whoever it needs to be sent to. In this case, it's going to myself because I'm the administrator on the account, but you can send this anywhere you need to and have this report automatically generated based on the time you've clocked. And so, quick tip for those of you who are looking to do this, if you do want to do multi-day, of course, you can just select this, choose 10 days at a time, and then go ahead and generate that report. And in this case, I still only had 1 day with any time logged, so it's not going to make a difference. But if you do have additional days that those are logged, this will generate a full report for a week or two at a time, or a month or a year, however long you need to see it. I am going to take a brief 20-second pause or so here to take a look at some of these questions. I know Holly has been kind of furiously keeping up with them as they come through. I am very bad at reading and talking at the same time, so for the sake of not convoluting my thoughts, I have been avoiding some of these questions for a moment, but give me about 15-20 seconds, make sure all of you guys are being heard. I want to take a look at these and make sure that they're all being addressed. And it does look like, I'll just kind of give you a play-by-play as I'm looking through here so you guys aren't left in the dark. There are questions about general use, like creating folders or albums. Can you give them a name or name the photos that you take with the camera? Yeah, you can absolutely name those folders and name the albums here from within the app when you create them. Questions about where the calls go or where the logs go when you call somebody through the app. That's actually something that on the Android side, you'll see the call logs there. The iOS side, the call logs is coming in the app very shortly as well. That's one of the features that we're bringing into to the app as part of the new enhancements. But they also go into ConstructionOnline. And while I'm looking at this, probably not a bad idea for me to bring this up for you guys and actually show you on ConstructionOnline where these go. So in your contacts list, you do have the call log tab. And you'll see that we actually have calls that will be logged here that are made from the app and go here as well. So if I were to actually go into a contact, let's say on the Android app right now, for those of you who are looking at it, and make a call through the call log or the dialog section, that would log to your ConstructionOnline app. Let's see, there are a few people asking, I guess, about the time clock as well, connecting to specific projects. You should have the clock into job option that is listed right here on your screen. Android's going to be a big green button. This one's a nice blue button. But when you clock in, you should be able to clock into a job as well and then assign that to a specific project. And there are a few questions in here. I think Holly's still coming through here. I don't want to divert too far from the actual app here. I know many of you guys are here joining us on kind of cutting out some time from your schedule and coming to see the app. I do want to continue moving on to a few of these other things here and let Holly try to catch up. Sorry, Holly. I know you are moving as fast as you can over there. I will actually circle back around to these as well, but I want to get to some of the kind of the anticipation of the iPad app as well, because honestly, I am pretty enamored with the layout. You know, when you have these 4-inch screens or 5-inch screens on iPhones and Android devices, they're getting bigger every day, every month. As every new phone comes out, phones start to become more and more like tablets. But it's pretty amazing what you can do with a little more real estate on something like the iPad as far as design and compatibility goes. And so if I pull this iPad version up for you and go ahead and look at this, you'll see that we have the luxury of being able to split the screen between the grid and the actual screens that you get when you drill in. So here on the iPad side, you can actually keep the features on the left and click on them for selections or to-dos or daily logs and go through and generate these really without losing the grid, and everything really stays on the same screen. You don't ever have to leave. There's no navigation back and forth between them. All of this is in a single place, and you know, it's something that I keep using, and I, you know, again, love using my phone. I'm just like most of our employees here, very kind of in love or in touch with technology, and love to see the newest technology and work with it, and you know, see all the apps out there and all the new things that Apple's releasing and Microsoft's releasing. And I love my phone, but I keep using this iPad app, and I don't want to go back to to my phone after it. And so this is something that as you kind of drill through, you can see all of the features on ConstructionOnline in this iPad view. And I know many of you are anxiously awaiting this, and we can't wait to get it out to you. There's a few things that we are adding some final tweaks to make sure that it's going to work for you the way that, again, we anticipate it to. Obviously things that I will not go into today because they're not quite working, so there's no point in looking at them. But with this, there are many things, and if you look right here, I wish you could see where I'm pointing, but kind of towards the top middle of the screen, right underneath the clock, you've got the full screen button as well. And so the full screen options are, really there to take advantage of the real estate that you really do have with iPads and tablets and things of that nature. Switch projects at the top. If I go back to my Channing Road or my Blunt residence, maybe I'll pick a feature that actually has a little bit more. Let's drill into GamePlan here. This is a new feature that you guys don't have. Been hyping it up a little bit, and the GamePlan feature, of course, exists in its own app. It exists on ConstructionOnline. It is my favorite feature. Any of you guys who have actually listened to any of my webinars before will have heard me talk about GamePlan, because I can't go a full 45 minutes without talking about it. So this is one thing I'm really excited to show you guys is actually going to be added to the app here very shortly, and you can go in, create game plans from the app. You can view your existing game plans and drill in with the nice interface here of being able to see per project, going in, all of your to-dos, all of your punch list items. And this is the summary view that people want. This is by far the most utilized feature across the board by anybody in ConstructionOnline, regardless of their industry, residential, commercial, theme parks, strip malls, whatever it is. The game plan is information condensed into its finest, really practice. So I can go in and see the to-dos that I have. I need to bring lunch to Holly today, so I'll go ahead and say that I've done that. Holly, I didn't actually bring you lunch, I'm sorry. We've got punch list items in here that we can check off. We've got scheduled tasks, calendar events, and RFIs. Of course, everything that is supposed to be included in your game plan is available here. And just like the other app that we've had, one of, again, the most popular and successful apps that we had separately, you can go in and see general items as well and kind of see this on a project-by-project basis. So we've got a ConstructionOnline webinar that we're doing today that I'll go ahead and mark as complete, since we are in the middle of that right now. And all of this, the great thing is that it communicates straight back to ConstructionOnline. So I've just checked these off. If I go back to my to-dos on ConstructionOnline, you'll actually see that those events, the Bring Lunch to Holly, the ConstructionOnline webinar, and as you check this off, it will show up immediately in ConstructionOnline as complete or as added or created, whatever it is that you guys are doing to those from the ConstructionOnline app. Talking about technology and talking about some of the enhancements here as well, though, with the app, some of the new features that we're adding. Many of you are familiar, whether or not you know it, with the concept of WebSockets. And WebSockets is another one of those features that hadn't really come into this webinar, anticipating that we would talk about it, but while we're on the subject of kind of the immediate interaction between the app and ConstructionOnline, WebSockets are effectively what you see when you use like Google Drive or Google Sheets, and multiple people that are kind of working on the sheet from different locations. You can see as people type, you can see as they make changes. WebSockets are being introduced into ConstructionOnline really feature by feature, and it really will be something that you can instantaneously see. Someone check it off, you'll see a task get edited, you'll see the name get changed. There's no refreshing, there's no navigating to a different page. It actually happens right there in front of you, just like a Google Doc or a Google Sheet would, for those of you probably familiar with that concept. And that is, again, one of the things that was driven by another new feature. Redline, of course, was really the inspiration for adding this throughout all of ConstructionOnline. And that is because, as you can imagine, as you're going through and actually editing drawings, making markups, making changes, the vision behind this is having multiple people on iPads or on computers on a conference call or in different locations that are actually watching each other make markups, discussing what they're doing as they're doing it, and not having to refresh the page as you go through that and work through a plan set and make revisions. And so we figured, why not carry that throughout all of ConstructionOnline, make this a completely collaborative program to where as soon as you change one thing, somebody in a different office or somebody looking on their iPad actually sees that you're working on this, sees that you're involved in it, and it eliminates even the refresh from being a barrier to getting up-to-date information. And so that is one of the many things that ConstructionOnline will be introducing kind of as time goes on in the next quarter or two throughout the system, to improve your quality of life with the system and improve that day-to-day experience. One final thing, I guess, that I did want to show you on this iPad app is the news feed. And so what this is exactly that. It's a news feed of all the things that have happened on this project in particular, or on your system in the last X amount of time. Depends on how many items you have, depends on how active you are in the system, really, as far as it goes back. But the settings on Construction Online can be set to choose what types of activities show here. But for those of you looking for a summary of activity, we do have email notifications that give you that. But you can come right here in the app and see what's been worked on. So I completed a punch list item, I completed a to-do, I approved a change order. All of these things are events that you watched me do in this webinar, so you can see that it's updating real time and actually showing you as things happen. I've created a couple punch list items. I have, if I can continue going down, created a to-do, created project logs, and clicking on all of these will actually take you right over to the feature and the item that was done. So if you need to see where this came from, you can click on it, it takes you there, and it's all integrated right here within the app. So one thing I will say is that, I mentioned earlier today, earlier in the webinar, that you guys could walk along with me if you needed to. If you haven't been walking along with me, I can't really do this justice because using this app is so much more intuitive and so much easier just to do it than it is for anybody to tell you or for you to see it. Hopefully, especially looking at this iPad version, which again I am a huge fan of because of the real estate that you have, and this will kind of be a view that we're working towards or incorporating into some of the larger Android tablets as well. But this is something that you can have everything you need in one nice screen, all the features of Construction Online, and in many ways it is condensing the power and robustness of Construction Online into what could possibly be the easiest to comprehend set of information that you could have. It's actually pretty impressive that everything that Construction Online does can really fit on this one little screen. And so go ahead, download this app. Really, we're hoping to get a ton of feedback from you guys today and from all of the new downloads that we have of this app as a result of the webinar, and continue to make this better. Many of you guys I've seen have been sending questions in and actually asking things that we are already working on or already adding to the app, some things that don't exist quite yet, but on a very short timeline. Some of them next week, some of them next month, depending on the scope and scale of those items you guys are asking for. But we've got big plans for this app, and really are looking to be, as we have on the desktop and the web-based side, the driving factor, the driving organization when it comes to project management on mobile. So I do want to go ahead and take a moment now. I'm going to take a look back at these questions that Holly has been answering, and specifically the ones that she hasn't. I've bounced around the app a little bit. I've taken a look at the iPad, the iPhone. The Android version is going to look almost identical to the iPhone side, but there is one thing that I did want to show you, and I actually am back up and running on the Android over here now. So I'm going to cast this up to you for just a moment. And I actually did have to grab another phone that is low on battery, so let me go ahead and connect here and see if I can get it up for you. And one thing with the Android side, again, that we've had a little fun with this app. It has been really a very fun project to work on the design and development process of it and talk to a lot of clients about what you'd like to see in the app and how you wish the app would work and what we could do to make your day-to-day lives easier. But it's also something that we've been able to add some more customization and options that you really don't have or haven't had to this point in Construction Online or in any of our single on-site apps. And those are customization of colors, customization of the order in which these items appear. And I'm going to say this is another reason why I am completely team iPhone. I'm actually, the battery on this one is too low to cast to the screen, so you guys will have to check out the Android version from the Google Play Store if you'd like to download them. But one thing to know is that if you go into that little hamburger menu in the top left for anybody walking through with us, you can go to settings and actually set your primary and secondary colors, change this to match your company theme, and you can rearrange the order of these features in the grid just by holding down one of the features like redline or files or camera and moving them around to the desired order based on what you use the most. So we might do another Android specific version of this just to let you guys see it. But if you have any questions about it, certainly call in. I'm going to put a TV timeout on this broadcast for a moment and actually look at these questions, make sure that you guys are getting the answers that you need, and kind of hear some of the excitement that's coming from our clients on this app. And I'll be back with you in just a minute or two. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging with me for just a second. Got with Holly here, and we're taking a look at some of these questions, and of course, she's been seeing them as they come in and has pointed a few of them out to me that have kind of been recurring questions or ones that have been kind of addressed directly to me or kind of to our session today. One of them, I guess, that has come up is asking about seeing schedules within the app. And I did completely skip over the calendar view. Of course, we're in project logging right now, and you can see the mini calendar. But if you do go to the calendars portion of this app, it will actually show you, if I switch to a project that has some content on it, it will go ahead and show you the calendar events as well as the scheduled tasks here on the view on your right. So let me go ahead and give this a second to pop up my calendar. I'll go ahead and create an event for you as well. And your Gantt chart items will show over here. This is actually something really cool that we've been working on an alternate view, though, of the calendar. And we will call this Webinar Completion Survey. We'll just put this on the Park Place project since that's what we're filtered to. And this will be an all-day event. But the alternate calendar view is actually going to be more of a vertical scroll up and down, kind of where you can see each of your days, one after the other, see what today's tasks are, calendar and schedule-wise as well. See your day-to-day activity or week-to-week activity. But the current view that we have will show all of your scheduled tasks, all of your calendar events here on the calendar. And you can see my footers labor and foundation labor. These are scheduled tasks coming from different projects. And if you look over on the right side, you'll see the dates are there, the 9th through the 23rd, the 4th through the 12th. So you get a bigger picture other than just today's view. And then below that, you'll see the non-all-day events, which are really your timed events, the scheduled appointments or meetings or anything like that you have. And of course, you can see that I have our webinar today from 3 to 4, which is coming right about to the tail end of that right now. So this is where you can see your calendar. This is where you can see your scheduled tasks. All of this will show in this view currently, but we do have a few more surprises up our sleeve to give you guys some alternate or kind of modified views of the calendar. Another thing that has been asked pretty repeatedly throughout the webinar is asking about kind of time clock and administrator functionality and access to your employees' timesheets and things of that nature. As I showed earlier, you can email the timesheets from the app in a report format to your administrator, but we are looking at kind of adding an administrator console to ConstructionOnline to where you can be in the office or log into ConstructionOnline and you'll have an admin for the payroll or for the company that can actually see all the employees that are clocked in, where they're clocked in at, their total hours, in the current pay period, things of that nature. It's a pretty big project we're undertaking to add that to ConstructionOnline. So we're at the point in this process where we are actively taking feedback and suggestions for it. We have such a large client base that does so many diverse things that, of course, we typically get questions and suggestions and feedback from all angles. But the more we get of it, the more we can find out what the general consensus is throughout the industry and make sure that we're giving you guys what you need or what you want. And we're at that point to where I would say as far as time tracking functionality goes, definitely use what you have right now. Have your employees track their time, log into the job, track it by hours so you know how to bill these and how to pay them out. But if you're going through this and you say, man, I wish I could do this, or wouldn't it be great if this app was able to do this, then I'd use it all the time, or it would be better than anything out there. Send that information to me. Send it to Holly. Send it to anybody here on staff. Let us know that you want it, and your voice will be heard. We will take that into consideration and under advisement when we're going into this, And again, not every single feature will be exactly implemented the way that somebody asks, because we might have somebody that asks for, item A and somebody asks for item B that is completely conflicting with that. So just by nature, there will be people that suggest things, and we might take an idea and run with it and kind of meld it and make it our own and give you something that is better than what you even thought of. So as far as time tracking or any applications go of the app, I would suggest any feedback or any suggestions you have, please send them in. We love to hear from our clients. That's where we got to where we are today, and really utilizing the feedback of our clients and our internal knowledge of the industry and the experience that we've had over the last 2 decades and more really before UDA Technologies in the construction industry. It makes a great team and a great partnership to really build world-class software. So that is definitely my suggestion as far as that goes. And same thing, there's many other kind of requests or questions coming in about, well, can you guys do this or will you guys do this? Same thing for those. Send those to us. Let your voice be heard. We will hear them. We will take them into consideration and use that when we're making modifications or enhancements to our software, as we like to do really every single day. So looking at this now, Holly has been looking at this, and I don't think there's any other questions that she's kind of sent my way that are listed as kind of unanswered or priority. If you feel like you have some unanswered questions, please give us a call. Talk to us individually. We're happy to address that more on a one-on-one situation instead of having hundreds and hundreds of people kind of firing these in at the same time. But I guess for today, I would leave you with go out and download the app. Use it. Get your team to download this. I know many of you in here are owners or kind of the champions of your team when it comes to Construction Online or kind of revolutionizing the way that you guys do day-to-day business. Get them to download this app. It will be the easiest way for them to get on board. It's going to be all the information they need, especially with the upcoming game plan features. That was one question I saw, I guess, that I did not address. Some of you mentioned that you're not seeing game plan, you're not seeing newsfeed, not seeing quick chat. These are things that are being previewed today that should be in the next update to these apps. I wanted to let you guys have a sneak peek, and some of these, I think the Android version might actually already have game plan and newsfeed available in the store. That was submitted. It's just kind of in Google's hands right now as far as when it's published. And same thing with the iOS side. Apple's process is a little bit slower when it comes to publishing. They have a more stringent review policy and things like that before they let it get out into the famed iOS App Store. But be looking for those, and as soon as they're out, you guys should get a notice of an app update available, and definitely let us know what you think. So I will leave you guys with that for today. I don't think there's been anything else that has come in the last couple of minutes that I have not seen. But I will review these questions. If there's anything I didn't get to, I'll reach out to you guys personally, make sure that if there's any questions about what you're asking or something that wasn't addressed, we will definitely take care of that for you. But most importantly, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been really an incredible experience for me and all of our employees here. Really just seeing the excitement and the anticipation of this that has been generated from all of our efforts and trying to bring you guys, an app that's going to change the way that your business runs and increase your profit margins, hopefully right away. So thank you for joining us. If you'd like to join next week, we do have our Construction Online webinar series. The dates for that are Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern. Monday is a Construction Online overview. Wednesday is focusing more on the red line and some of the options we have for you there. And then Friday is going to focus on the world's fastest scheduling that we offer in Construction Online, getting a little more into the Gantt charts and some of the functionality that you really have the power to do on Construction Online as this goes on. So thank you so much for joining in. Again, my name is Taylor Pruitt. Please feel free to ask for me if you have any questions or shoot me an email at tpruitt@uda1.com. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you guys and look forward to building a relationship with you. Take care.